Hello, my name is Itia Yancey Peter, also known as Rocky. I was born a twin of Lagos Nigerian and Chattanoogan descent, and my name derives from Matthew 16:18 that states, "And I say unto thee, Thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it." Itia and Peter are both Nigerian names that mean rock. So that's where Rocky comes from the Nigerian translation as well as the Matthew 16:18 scripture. Currently, I am the Technical Services Manager in the PDS Business Unit doing substation protection and control design for TVA out of the Mesa Chattanooga office. I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering with a dual focus in Power and Digital Circuits from Tennessee Tech University, and I hold an Engineer in Training certification. Early on at 11 years old during a Boy Scout camp, I was instructed to connect one end of an insulated wire to a 6-volt battery terminal, wrap that wire around a nail, and then connect the other end of the wire to the other 6-volt battery terminal. This created my first electromagnet, and I wanted to know how a nail was changed into a magnet and then why the wire burned my fingers when I touched the terminals. I wasn't supposed to touch the terminals, but I did. But that one experience was my spark that first get me into wanting to go into the electrical engineering career. Were there challenges when I started? Yes, many challenges, but there were three that kind of stood out. One was exclusion from my peers. Another was hostility from those I was trying to serve, and a third was doubting from my peers. Exclusion was at Tech. I wasn't invited to any of the engineering study groups. I had to study on my own. It wasn't until I was the only one in class getting correct answers at one point that I got invited to the study groups. The hostility I experienced were three instances during my co-op and early years at EPB. I had dogs turned loose on me. I had a shotgun aimed at me. I also had the police called on me while I was doing my job, all in full EPB attire and driving a EPB marked vehicle. The doubts that I had from some of my peers in the early days, some doubted that I could produce or had the intelligence to do and develop designs. And in all of these instances, I confronted the hate that I was experiencing with love. Hate for hate doesn't work. It only brings about more discord and more separation. In the end, my exclusion that I experienced, I turned into inclusion. The hostilities were converted through conversation, and the doubts that I was experiencing, they were erased through hard work and dedication. There was a lot of support that I got along the way to help me in my career. The first being the church. The church provided a foundation, a way of developing in God's house to go forward in the work industry. My mom and my big mama, they provided stability from home. The simple thing of just simple acts of making cookies from my mom and sweet potato pies from my big mama. Those were things that while I was in school, I got from home, and it provided a level of stability. The cooperative education program, co-oping, it provided a foot in the door. So all of those gave me abilities to move forward in my career and were very impactful as support structures. The challenges I see for some of our African American engineers is sticking to the hard stuff. That was one of the things I dealt with, with the racial barriers, with the obstacles, was sticking to it. Just because it's hard doesn't mean you have to give up. We have to move forward. And one of the advices I give to African American engineers, or even engineers in general, is to gravitate towards the hard stuff. I came across a saying rather by Jerry Rice. Great words that I still live by and try to live by today. He said, "Today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can do what others can't." And it's not a boastful statement or anything along those lines. It was more of a statement to push personal advancement. a personal challenge to gravitate towards that which is hard so that you can produce later on. And that production caused me to want to do something for my community, and that simply is to give back. One nugget of Black history for me is that I was the original EPB Dr. Shock. I created the character from the EPB safety program, and my main drive for doing that was to be able to spread knowledge to the community for some of the younger ones in the area growing up. On one trip to an elementary school, one young man absorbed a lot from the demonstration. Unknown to me, it was his spark to become an electrical engineer. It pushed him to attend Tennessee Tech, my alma mater, and later brought him full circle to sit directly across from me to do an interview to hire on at Mesa. And to this day, it is a very satisfying statement to hear Alex Mitchell say how I was his inspiration to become an electrical engineer. And he is still producing in the company. So that one little seed way years back at an elementary school is now producing through a person to continue working here at Mesa. Who are some of the people I look up to in that career movement of mine? I had a lot. My mom, being a single mother, she managed to have 3 children in college all at the same time. My sister at East Tennessee State University, my brother at Austin Peay State University, and I'm at Tennessee Tech University. And at one time, she was carrying us all to school on the same day. So a little minivan packed full of luggage for all 3 kids, and we all traveling to different spots within the state to go to school. That was a personal person I look up to. In my professional career, and this may sound like I'm buttering up, but it's not. I really do look up to Shaker and Ranjana. Shaker went from being a dishwasher to his wife owning a multi-million-dollar company. And to this day, she knows my name and my children. My thing is for an owner to invest that type of personal connection, that personal attention, that's always been impressive to me, because an owner of a multi-million-dollar company doesn't have to invest that type of personal attention to detail for their people. You know, we are associates. It's part of the Mesa family. And that is something unique to this company that some other owners don't put that type of energy into. Looking back at my younger self, one of the things I wanted to tell my younger self was to never sell myself short. I took that for granted when what my worth was when I first started in the industry. I didn't think about what I brought to the table. It wasn't just checking the box of diversity. It was also that I knew what I knew. I knew my stuff, but I didn't have a whole bunch of confidence in moving forward and knowing my stuff. So looking back, I think that is something I would want to tell my younger self with what I know now. I want to get into some of the more sticky details of things when we talk about culture here at Mesa. This being Black History Month, is there a level of encouragement for diversity and a welcoming environment for that here at Mesa? I can speak from the branch of the Mesa family that I've been fortunate to be a part of. It's been encouraging and it's been welcoming. I'll name names: Rob Behringer, Gus Grisham, Reggie Hedrick. They were all key players in my career that were enforcers of diversity when they really didn't have to be. Those guys stepped out of their comfort zone and actively recruited a more diverse workforce and caused this group that I'm in to be one of the more diverse groups within the whole company. Women, people of color were actively sought after without prejudice. No one group was excluded. When our group would go to meetings with other contractor teams, it was evident that effort was put in to hire an effective and diverse workforce here at Mesa. And with that being said, I still see some areas within Mesa that can use some improvement in diversity. It's necessary. Diversity gives us the ability to grow better as a company. It gives us ability to move forward, to work more integrally with other areas within our industry. How have I seen diversity change? a little bit more of a nugget of African American and Black history, I guess you could call it. Back in May of 1996, I was the first African American engineer hired in EPB's Chattanooga engineering department. And I was the second African American engineer by only 2 months hired in EPB's 60-year history. So before the two of us, the other being Chris Reel, and Chris still works at EPB now. We kind of bump into each other every now and then. But before then, there were no African American engineers hired at EPB, which astounded me for it to be 1996. And even in my first year of coming to Mesa, May of 2000, there were three, if I'm remembering by my count, one in Knoxville and two in Chattanooga, including myself. And that environment at Mesa as well as EPB has changed. Now there's more women, there's more people of color gravitating to the industry. And again, all of that is necessary to make this company a more effective and a more inclusive working environment, to be integral to work within the industry across the board. That is part of the part of Mesa that is a good connection within this company. We're not there yet, but it is getting better. It's getting more inclusive, and I'm seeing more within the company itself. I want to take this time to thank Jennifer Moore and Jeremy Hughes for their work in putting this together, to putting this Mesa Talk together, allowing the opportunity just to be able to come out and do this Mesa Talk. I hope some of it was informative. I hope some of it was as well as informational. And I thank you again for the opportunity. Have a blessed rest of the day.